Welcome students of Standard 9. Hope you are ready for today's class. Today in English Literature, we are going to do Chapter 4, The Portrait of a Lady, Part 4. In the previous 3 videos, you had studied about the grandmother of the author Khushwant Singh, his relationship with her in her house, the changes that came over when they came to stay with his parents in the city, her daily activities in the village and the city, and the progress he made in life as he went from class to class, and its bearings on the grandmother. Have you all understood? Let's see what is there in this. Here you have another work of Khushwant Singh, I Shall Not Hear the Nightingale. It's a novel written by him. Alright? This is another book, Delhi. It's a novel written by Khushwant Singh. And here is the list of the top 10 books he has written. Train to Pakistan, I Shall Never Hear a Nightingale, Why I Supported the Emergency, Delhi, a novel, The Good, the Bad and the Ridiculous, The Sunset Club, Death at My Doorstep, Women and Men in My Life, Truth, Love and a Little Malice, A History of the Sikhs. These were the works of Khushwant Singh. Now here we are continuing with the lesson, The Portrait of a Lady. When I went up to university, I was given a room of my own. Now the author had grown up so much, he had finished his studies, his schooling, and he went to a university and he was given a room of his own. The common link of friendship was snapped. Which relationship is he talking about? He's talking about his friendship with his grandma that was cut. Snapped means cut. My grandmother accepted her seclusion with resignation. What is seclusion? Being away from other people. Secluded, separated, with resignation, with willingness. She had no option. She accepted her being away from him and accepted it. She had to quit that friendship. She accepted it willingly. She rarely left her spinning wheel to talk to anyone. Now, what was the new thing that she had started? The spinning wheel. What is a spinning wheel, children? On which you spin to make cotton into thread. From sunrise to sunset, she sat by her wheel, spinning and reciting prayers. She did 2 things at the same time. 1, from morning to evening, she sat by her wheel. She was working at it. And what was she doing throughout? Reciting her prayers. Next. Only in the afternoon she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. So her routine was from morning till evening she was at the wheel and she was reciting her prayers. But in the afternoon she relaxed for some time, rested for some time to feed the sparrows. While she sat in the veranda breaking the bread into little bits, hundreds of little birds collected round her, creating a veritable bedlam of chirrupings. So, what was she giving here? Was she giving chapatis? No. Here she was giving them bread pieces. She was breaking them into tiny bits. Hundreds of little birds collected round her, creating a continuous chirping sound. What is chirrupings? Chirping. The sounds made by the birds. Some came and perched on her legs, but she never shooed them away. They came and sat on her legs or on her shoulders. She never shooed them away. Shoo them away means pushing them off. It used to be the happiest half hour of the day for her. In the whole day of 24 hours, one of the happiest times she had was this time with the birds. Veritable, rightly so called, used for emphasis. Creating a veritable bedlam means emphasizing, telling how much of confusion and noise they were making. Just imagine 4 or 5 birds only, when they chirp, it is so much noise. Hundreds of them, they are all making so much noise that they were all around her and enjoying her company when she fed them. And what was her reaction? She said that it was one of the happiest moments of her life. When I decided to go abroad for further studies, now the time came for the author to go abroad. Go abroad means to go to a foreign country to continue studies, further studies. I was sure my grandmother would be upset. What did he think? My grandmother will feel very, very sad. I'm leaving her and going so far. I would be away for 5 years, and at her age, one could never tell. What does he mean? He says, I thought since I'm going for 5 years, she will be very upset. And looking at her age, it was very difficult to say when I come back after 5 years, whether I will see her again. That kind of a fear. But my grandmother could. She was not even sentimental. But my grandmother could means she was not showing that sentiment at all. She was not at all emotional. She knew that she probably knew that she is going to live beyond those 5 years which he is imagining. It may so happen that when he comes back, she won't be there. But she didn't have any such fear or thought. She came to leave me at the railway station, but did not talk or show any emotion. She did not keep on talking or show any emotion that she was upset, or her lips moved in prayer. Her mind was lost in prayer. The only activity she went on doing was praying all the time. Her lips moved in prayer and her mind was lost in prayer, means she was not even aware what was happening of the surroundings. She was immersed in her prayer. Her fingers were busy at the rosary. What is the rosary? The bead, the 108 beads, the tulsi mala or the crystal mala where people do japa. That was on her hand and she was busy counting those beads. Silently she kissed my forehead. She did not say anything. She kissed my forehead. And when she left, I cherished the moist imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. What was the author's impression? When she kissed his forehead, he felt something wet. Cherished means enjoyed, loved, the moist imprint. When she kissed he felt that this is probably the last sign of contact. After this, when I come back, my grandmother won't be there. She is not going to be there to hug me or kiss me. This is probably the last thing that I'm receiving from her. And this is the last I'm probably going to see her. This is his view. Cherished, valued, treasured. Moist means wet. And imprint means mark made by pressure. When you kiss or when you press, when she kissed with pressure, it felt as if she left a wet, valued impression on his mind. But that was not so. After 5 years, I came back home and was met by her at the station. 5 years before, what did he think? This is the last time I'm going to see grandma. When I come back, she won't be there. But he was wrong. 5 years later, when he came back, he saw her at the station. She had come to receive him. She did not look a day older. 5 years had passed, but there was no change in her physical appearance. She still had no time for words. Means she did not want to talk, speak. She was silent. And while she clasped me in her arms, I could hear her reciting her prayers. Clasp means held him in her arms. She still continued reciting her prayers. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments there with her sparrows, whom she fed longer with frivolous rebukes. Clasped means hugged. Okay? And frivolous rebukes means foolish scoldings. So the author was surprised that his grandma was alive. And when he looked at her, he found that she was just the same as he had seen her 5 years ago. There was no change in her. She hugged him, but she did not open her mouth. He could only hear her. No words came out of her mouth. It was only she was reciting her prayers. And even on this day when he came, instead of sitting with him and, laughing, talking, she was very happy to be with the sparrows and she fed them. It looked as if she fed them longer with foolish, silly scoldings, affectionate scoldings. In the evening, a change came over. Change came over means there was some change he saw. She did not pray. She collected the women in the neighborhood, got an old drum and started to sing. What did she do now? She did not talk. She did not pray, but she collected the women from the village in the neighborhood, got an old drum. It was not a village, sorry. In the neighborhood, the women that were there, she collected all of them, got an old drum and began singing. For several years, she thumped the sagging skins of the dilapidated drum and sang of the homecoming of the warrior. For several years, she had thumped. Thump means beaten. The sagging skins means loosely hanging. Dilapidated, in a very, very bad condition. What did she do? She started thumping the drum, which was in a most dilapidated condition. And what did she sing? The homecoming of the warrior. Who is the warrior here? The author. He had gone abroad and returned safely. Thumped means heavy, dull blow or noise. She did not have the energy to beat it so much. Sagging means hanging down loosely. And dilapidated, in a state of ruin or disrepair. You cannot repair it also. It's in that bad shape. So she was beating the drum and singing the song of the homecoming of the warrior. We had to persuade her to stop to avoid overstraining. Now she became emotional. Persuade means to request. Ask her to stop overstraining. Go on beating. At her age, she'll get tired. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray. What was the change that he noticed? This was the first time she had just stopped praying. So let's see the meaning of the word persuade, influence, press, request, overstraining, exerting herself. So they had to ask her to stop playing. Now to summarize. Author joining a university, grandmother's new interests, author going abroad for 5 years, author's return and welcome by grandmother, changes in the life of grandmother. Now to the questions. Answer the following in your notebooks. Describe the 3 stages of relationship between the author and his grandmother before he went abroad. She thumped the sagging skins of the dilapidated drum. Has the description of the drum anything to do with the grandmother? Explain. Try all this. We'll continue with question 3. Describe the relation between animals, birds, dogs and sparrows and the grandmother. What was the first change observed by the author about his grandmother on his return from abroad? Write 5 sentences about your paternal or your maternal grandmother. I repeat, write 5 sentences about your paternal. Paternal means fathers. Or maternal means mothers. You write about your father's mother or your mother's mother. They both are grandmothers to you. Write 5 sentences about them, not the author's grandmother. Is that clear, children? Thank you.